This entire team has been lifted tonight by Odell Beckham. This is sick. Put this to music.
All right, let's jump into this here. Rad League podcast, week 6. We've had a start to the Rad League that seems par for the course for how this league normally operates, and then a bit of surprises here and there. Jab, how you doing? Welcome in.
Very good. Thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure, and glad to hear that you're on the road to recovery.
Recovering torn ACL, torn meniscus. I'll probably you wouldn't want to use a high pick on me next year. First year back after the ACL, you're never the player you once were. So the year after that, though, is when I'm looking to kind of make that resurgence.
Where did Javonte go in the draft? You think he'll have a similar ADP next year or what?
Yeah, see, he probably went a little high. Javonte probably went a little high, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see where you're going.
He went round 5. He went pick 43. That's a little high, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be looking at myself more like around 7-8 next year. And if you took Javonte round 8 this year and you were getting 5 to 10 points a game, you'd be like, yeah, all right.
Who the fuck would be dumb enough to do
that? Inferno draft, or did Inferno draft him for someone else?
I don't know. I lose track because he trades.
I know they don't have their own picks. They do all this trading. Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into it.
No, Jordan drafted him. He was drafted to EMG.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Bit of a lineup today. Let's see what I sent you here. So we've got a lot of trade activity throughout the week. There was all the catastrophe. We lost our Twitter account. We had to make a new one. We're getting the tweets on there. But let's take apart these last 5 trades and, let's see who you think's winning them, who's losing them. Most recently, we've got Jerry Jeudy for Keontae Ingram. That's a weird one.
Let's pass that one.
Okay. I don't know who I'd rather have. Probably, I don't want either of them. All right, we'll go with the blockbuster. Isaiah Pacheco and Zach Charbonnet have been dealt from the vacuum cleaners for Saquon from the Tinker Slurs. This is a keeper for keeper trade. What are your thoughts?
This is a very juicy one, and I got a lot of thoughts on it.
Yeah.
So on paper, who's the sexiest name for you, would you say?
It's Saquon Barkley, for sure.
So now this one's interesting. Saquon's an interesting asset that a lot of teams have jumped off of over the years. And it's very easy to be excited about Saquon Barkley. You've seen what he's done his rookie year. Got drafted very early when he was a rookie. He's had some pop games. But I think Tink kind of wanted to moneyball this, sell the biggest name, and he got cold on Barkley same way EMG did.
Yeah.
And I'm siding with the Tink side on this. I think Pacheco's a good fucking player. He's on a better roster. He's waiting to get paid. He's younger. Now, what's the other side of this? The keeper side of this?
Yeah.
Tink. I mean, he may keep JT. Who knows? But the reality of the situation is Barkley's also 26.
Yeah. And
looking at the history, I'm going to need another drink for this. First Miller Lite in 7 days. Can you believe that?
Cheers to that.
Cheers. But yeah, going back to the last, we've had a lot of history on it, like the 27-year-old running backs. Melvin Gordon last year. Dalvin Cook this year.
Yeah.
Who's the other one? What are some other 27-year-old running backs?
Joe Mixon.
I'm forgetting a few, but
Derrick Henry.
He's fucking built different. But yeah, we'll see how it happens.
I don't. He is
feel
built different, but his drop has started. The Derrick Henry decline is here. It's there's always
we're
this
seeing
talk
it, right?
every year. You want to be on it, you want to be off it. We're seeing
So
it now.
Tink probably saw that. He saw and Barkley's already got paid. Pacheco's working to get paid. You see how fucking aggressive he is running? This guy wants to be paid. He's in a better offense.
Hasn't been hurt yet in his
others,
career.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Barkley, the Giants fucking suck. Yes, Barkley's talented, but Daniel Jones has so many 3 and outs. You're just minimizing your opportunities on that side. And you got Charboncock, who, I don't know. I'm the Kenneth Walk owner, so he obviously, I kind of have a grudge against him. But at the same time, he's also
it's the same
has value if
same
Kenneth
as like
Walker goes
Bigsby
down.
here, having a guy
He'll
like
be on
that.
record. Sorry, go ahead.
The same as like Bigsby or just having a good handcuff. It's the same as any
Yeah.
good handcuff. Yeah.
So he also has that part. So if you look 1 for 1, Barkley versus Pacheco, Barkley is the sexier name. Pacheco might be just put up the same numbers though, and he's in a better situation and less questions injury wise.
I agree with you. I agree with you in all of this. And it may be a good onward for Tink. It's just one of those things. It's hard to rationalize the price paid for Barkley and the price, the return on investment is negative for this guy. And that seems to be the thing. You got to be careful how much you invest in certain players, what you pay to get them, future versus now, present value. And so we'll see. As if Tink's going full Chiefs, I get it. I get wanting to get off this guy. He's still injured.
And all he needs to do with that Tyreek Hill jersey is just paste Pacheco's name on it.
Yeah.
Where are you leaning? Kind of 50-50?
I'm kind of 50-50. I think it's more beneficial for Zach to get a guy he can hopefully keep into next year.
Yeah.
But it might be a worse asset. Right now, and we'll see. All right, next trade. Recently, this is an interesting one. We had James Conner recently on the IR, traded for Alex Madison. And Jason had also just acquired Khalil Herbert, another injured running back. Now he does it again with James Conner. So we can talk about these trades together. He gave up a waiver claim, which ended up being Deonta Foreman, and Curtis Samuel. To get Herbert, stash the guy with a high ankle sprain, and now he's getting a guy on IR with a knee injury, trading away Alex Madison. So he didn't give up great players, but he's given up depth, and he's taken on some injured holds. 4-1 team, it could pay off, but I get why you make one of those moves. I don't know if I want to get 2 guys that are injured on my bench right now. How about you?
I'm aligned with that. I feel like Jason's kind of playing with fire here. Super excited for the 4-1 start. His roster has looked great, produced well, but reality situation is are you confident in what you currently have? And what if Etienne just goes down? What if Kamara goes down? What if Metcalf goes down? He's dealing with a rib injury.
Still not practicing. Yeah, he'll play.
Cat's been 4-1 twice, I think, at least one time, and he's collapsed. There's no safe team in this league.
There's not.
I feel, to your point earlier, 1 is fine. Just wait long term. But 2, I know Jason made another trade today with Inferno.
It was the Keontae Ingram.
I think he slept on it a bit and be like, fuck. I might.
So he got a running back that might fill in there for being out. We'll see.
Yeah, it is risky. 4-1 is 4-1. Never apologize for 4-1. But you gotta also put up dubs. And at the end of the day, you need to keep
want to chase that bye week right now.
If you don't keep winning, then you're fucked. I speak from experience from that. Let's take another drink to that. So yeah, that's my take.
Yeah,
we'll see how it pays off. again, just want to reiterate that Jason is a very good roster.
Yep.
And he has that flexibility, but there are still some holes in it. He's rostering Metcalf and Allen and Herbert, all good names. But what if one of these guys goes down? He's like trying to tread water when he could have just kept riding.
I suppose. Who's his tight end? Oh, Laporta. He's okay.
Laporta's hurt too.
Yeah, but he's gonna play, I think. He's gonna play this week.
Let's hope.
Yeah. You know what? I get it that if he's 4-1, he thinks he can go 2-2 over these next 4 games, and he gets to 6-3, and then he gets James Conner and Khalil Herbert back in his lineup. That'd be worth it, I'd say.
So best case scenario that happens.
Yeah.
What's the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario is that
worst case scenario he goes 1-3. I'd say his roster is still strong, and that would bring him to 5-4. So you might be out. You might be climbing to get a bye week, but let's say, Khalil Herbert, I really liked him. I liked him coming into the draft. I took him 5th round. I thought this guy was good sport. I thought good at the sport. Thought the Bears were good, but the second I watched game 1, I was shitting my pants about Roschon Johnson. I shit my pants about 3 weeks about that guy, just waiting, thinking he's going to take the job. Somehow Herbert ended up taking it over, like right before he got hurt, which I was thrilled about, but a little bit confused. So for me to get hopefully Deonta Foreman for 1 week while Roschon's out, Curtis Samuel, a guy that I need to get through these buys. I need a guy who can play and get me hopefully 10 points. So I'd be even worried about Khalil Herbert coming back after this ankle injury. He's going to be slow returning, ankle things on, and there's a couple good running backs in that room.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. And I feel like, looking at that trade, you're playing the short-term game. Jason's playing more the long-term game. But I was just going to jump in and say that Herbert and the reality of the situation with that asset long-term, the worst-case scenario is that Roschon just takes the job and the Bears are out of a playoff spot. They're just trying to see what the rookie has. Herbert, to your point, is just trying to, he might get 5 carries his first game, slowly get acclimated back. But what if Roschon just runs away with the job?
Yeah, that's
the worst case scenario. Yeah. And then you got James Conner. I've rostered James Conner last year. He's good when he's on. He gets tucks, but he's always there's always an injury that's nagging him. And the Cardinals, again, they could just be out of a playoff spot and then just say, hey, who else do we have? And we'll
that could be a shutdown.
And then, who knows? Maybe he aggravates in practice and then they just shut him down for the year.
Yeah.
So again, those are just assumptions, but we'll see.
I like, and the other thing I was surprised at with, at first I was I thought I got real good value for Herbert getting the third waiver claim in Foreman and Samuel, and then he ended up trading away Alex Madison for James Conner, which, Madison's another guy that we know he's not a stud and it's not trending upwards for him, but he gets you by right now. He gets you by right now in the flex. And say Conner comes back, are him and Madison going to be that far apart? I don't know.
No. And then you could just maybe he could have walked away with the buy had he not have made this trade.
Yeah.
Also, Madison will get more throws to him, more targets with Jack down.
True. Okay, so those are those trades. I think we've got one more trade to talk about. This was the 3-team behemoth. This was another keeper moving. So there's a bunch of moving pieces here. The vacuum cleaners trade away Joe Mixon. Vacuum cleaners have traded away. I'll say who people received because it's too confusing. GSOP has received Devonta Smith and Joe Mixon. Inferno receives AJ Brown coming from GSOP. Vacuum cleaners receive Roschon Johnson and Gabe Davis. So GSOP and the vacuum cleaners get a piece from each team. Inferno gets AJ Brown.
Brown. Inferno got Brown.
That's it.
G-Stop got
Devonta Smith and
Devonta.
Joe Mixon. And the vacuum
Joe.
cleaners got Gabe Davis and Roshan Johnson. So the vacuum cleaners only gave up Joe Mixon. And for selling Mixon, they got Gabe Dave, Roshan Johnson. This is a 1-4 team. Roshan Johnson's probably out this week. G-Stop's a 2-3 team. They trade away their keeper to get the wide receiver 2 on his keeper's team and Joe Mixon. So not horrible for this season. Just tough to give up your anchor, your best player like that, AJ Brown. Vacuum cleaners, giving up Smith. I think it's a big win for Inferno getting AJ Brown.
Oh, absolutely.
After
It's a
that,
fucking massive win.
after that, I think it shakes out best for GSOP, even though that for this season, even though they gave up their keeper. I think you got 2 good players. You got 2 really good players for your keeper, and you're a 2-3 team. Try to make playoffs.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah, this trade was such a clusterfuck. Initially, I thought that it netted out to just G-Stop getting Devonta. And I'm like, why would you swap Devonta and Brown when Brown is the better option? So, and then he also got Joe Mixon.
So he gave up Gabe Davis too, though. I forgot about that.
Gave up Gabe. So who's bet? Let's because this is a tricky one. So Devonta and Gabe Davis. Now I drafted Devonta Smith. He is a very talented football player, but for fantasy, it doesn't net out the way you want it to. So I might even want Gabe over Devonta.
Wow.
But I'm also a pop
So,
slut.
yeah, it's close. You're also who?
A pop, like I like pop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Gabe has like just weeks so you can just put up 30 points. So I don't know. Devonta again is probably the most talented between those two, but I don't know. I also don't know what Cum's doing because he still can't roster a team right now.
I know.
So what are these
He
trades
traded for a
doing
concussed guy. Yeah, like
1-4. He's 1-4,
yeah.
and he can't field a team, and he's making these big, massive deals, and he still doesn't have a roster. So
He's got 2 open flex spots right now.
I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, and then G-Stop got Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon scares the fuck out of me. He put up 52 points against me last year.
Yeah.
So,
He's still good. I think he's still good.
G-Stop also needed a Joe Mixon too.
Yeah.
So I know, but again, going back to Frown, he's the best player in the entire trade, and Inferno is a juggernaut, and we're all fucked potentially. So Inferno just like is loving this. But I think the most interesting part, and maybe where we can probably evaluate the value that each team got, would be between G-Stop and Cum. So let's look at what G-Stop got. He got Devonta Smith again. Devonta Smith, Davis, debatable. Devonta Smith looks nicer on the app, but Gabe might just produce more.
Yeah, but
Joe
then
Mixon,
John
Roshan.
versus Joe Mixon, and that's Mixon all the way.
So I think if I were to rank this, Inferno, G-Stop, and Cum.
I agree.
What's your
I
take?
agree. I agree. All right. Those are the what's happening in the trade world right now for the Rad League. Let's touch on the game of the week quickly. We've got Inferno. We were just talking about an FIO. FIO started bottom of the league. They just had a big win. Who do you like here in this game of the week? I'm still just looking at Allen, Diggs, Frown, McCaffrey. I don't know how this team loses at full strength, but FIO needs like Chase, Debo, and Brees Hall to pop off.
So my brain is telling me Inferno, but my cock is telling me FIO. Burrow and Chase, I think, are back.
They're back.
Seattle and Bengals will be an absolute shootout. These guys are hungry for a playoff spot. High-powered offenses.
Both of those teams are good.
Debo Samuel, he's good for. I fucking love that guy.
Yeah, he's
Get
good.
emotional. And then Hopkins, he's looking like he's coming back on. Brees Hall, we just got a report today that like the Eagles are losing a lot on defense.
Yeah.
So I think even, but McCaffrey, this is toss up. I would like to know your take first before I like really think about this.
Yeah. Inferno's flex, Ridley, Nakua, Rashad White. I think he's a lock for 120 points at his floor. So I could see this being 130 to 120 for Inferno. Sorry, 30 to 120 Inferno.
Has FIO had a game?
He had like 140 last week, I think.
140? So he has it in him.
Yeah. And that was the Chase had like, 35 or something.
And Hawkinson will get more usage with check down.
Yeah.
Cooper.
But Ave, we've seen him be injured and just kind of, I don't know. Mari Cooper's playing with a random guy at QB, Deshaun Watson. And DeMarcado, he might be all right, but he might
even be like the second fiddle.
Yeah. Who knows,
Yeah,
you gotta pick one to win. You gotta pick one to win.
I will go. I don't know. Something just feels right about FIO in this matchup. I like his guys probably because I also rostered these guys. And I think Olave is due for a really big game. And sure. Chase and Burrow will have a very big game. And and then also the Brown side, like the Jets have a really good secondary. So Brown just might be capped. Again, it's so easy to say Inferno in any situation, just based on the names. But that's not always what wins your matchups. Yeah. And I'm leaning FIO in this situation.
All right. I like it. Now, let's do a little new segment. It's called You In or You Out? Inda or Outda? Let's look at our top 6 teams right now. Inferno, Jackrabbits, Benchwarmers, Jabronis, Andy's Love Life, Eat My Grit. Those are your top 6. Who do you feel confident is, looking like a lock for the playoffs there? But more importantly, I want you to pick one team that you see falling outside of that top 6 come December, come end of the season here when it gets important.
So I'll start out with the top 6 right now. So you want me to kind of tell you who's going to fall out of the playoff spot?
Yeah, out of those top 6, I want you to pick one team for me that you are maybe least confident in or worried about holding on to that top 6 spot in the playoffs.
I have the Jackrabbits falling out. Love Jason as a guy. Fucking love him. But I feel like he's just getting a bit too cocky right now. And his distribution of his assets, I think he probably would have been better just holding out. And who does he got this week? This will be a good indicator. So he's got Benchwarmers. If Benchwarmers lose this game or win this game over Jackrabbits might be on the tail end of a fucking spiral like they always do.
See, I am almost on the flip side that I'm a little worried about the Benchwarmers. And if they pick up a couple losses here,
Kelsey looks kind of.
He's still real good. But I'm like
doing good, but he's banged up a bit.
I'm worried about this receiver room of DJ Moore, Mike Evans, Michael Pittman. They've been real good players at the start of this year, but when it comes down to playing the top teams, like I don't know if I am picking those 3 for the biggest pop. You know what I mean?
Who do you have on? Sorry, do you have on hand who Benchwarmers has next in the next few matchups?
Yeah, I'll tell you now.
They got Cum.
They've got vacuum cleaners. But when they have vacuum cleaners, they have Tony Pollard on bye and Adam Thielen on bye.
So I can't even answer that question between those two. This is a big game for both respective teams. It's a must win, I would say.
After that, the Benchwarmers play Inferno. So
okay, yeah, you know what?
This is a big matchup. This is the 2 4-1 teams that like.
If Cat wins this week, he's fine. If Benchwarmers lose this week, they might be fucked.
And then
especially if
but
Kelsey
then the
goes
bench
down.
warmers play FIO. Then they play figure it out after that.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that
A good
checks
team, though. I
out.
mean, you're 1-4. You've got guys that have been producing all year for them.
Pollard has kind of been
Mm,
not too impressed with them this year
underwhelming.
so far as
They're
a
missing
Cowboys fan.
another presence in that backfield. Okay, so that's in the top 6. You're worried about the Jackrabbits.
What do you got?
I'm a little worried about the Benchwarmers.
Okay, I think I'm leaning that side now. I'll hop off again. My decision. You kind of sold me on the Benchwarmer side of the thing. Jackrabbits, if they win this week, then they're fucking fine.
Yeah. With Benchwarmers, I just don't see a lot of upside on the bench. No pun intended. But these guys like Thielen and Michael Thomas, like I don't like. They're not going to be here week 15, and you can rely on them for, 10 to 18 points. You know what I mean? Like James Cook, Brian Robinson are good, and Michael Pittman's good, but like I don't think these guys have the ceiling of other teams who have like Alvin Kamara, Josh Jacobs in the flex. Like
and then he could easily make a trade that, and we just change.
But then we're forgetting about Kelsey. We're already just forgetting about Kelsey. Look at these guys. Kelsey and Fields. Fields might be really good.
I can see. I can kind of see Benchwarmers just being like, "Hey, fuck, let's get Mahomes again."
Yeah.
But yeah, as it currently stands, I'm leaning that way.
Okay.
So back end of this, so who is out of playoff spot that will creep in? My answer is pretty.
So yeah, we've got Tink at 7, Figure It Out at 8, Greatest Show on Paper at 9, and our defending champs, the Vacuum Cleaners, at 10. Out of those 4, who do you like bumping up? Let's see if you're going to shock the world here. If you're going to
Tink, I don't have too good of a read on. I also never know how his matchups just play out. So the easiest answer for
90 points. That's how it plays out.
Yeah, and also we'll see how and they make trades every week, so I don't even know how to evaluate. He's just his unique kind of team. But easiest answer for me and who I think has the best team right now in this bracket is FIO. And then G-Stop, love the guy. He's fucking dead.
That's a fucking shit team. I am in agreement with FIO. I think he's got the meat and potatoes. I think he's got top keepers, and he's got throughout wide receiver and flex, and even a couple guys on the bench. He's got guys that are going to get you, 5 to 12 points when you fucking need it. It's a team that no matter what bye weeks he's got going on, it's like he's never dead. He's always got good players ready to go. G-Stop,
he always figures it out.
He does. G-Stop, he just traded away his best player. And, against me last week, I was up against Cam Akers and, Jamo Williams, his first game in 2 years. And I don't even know, Matt Breida.
You hate to see it.
You're up against Jerick McKinnon and Quentin Johnston. Guys that are getting 2 points a week.
I mean, I don't want someone to clip this and me say, hey, G-Stop is dead, and then I lose to him this week.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Devontae Smith is his wide receiver 1. Bijan, he's...
You know what? Bijan's good. The Falcons...
Nixon was a big trade. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The full picture, I just don't love it. It doesn't look good on paper. And then Hurts, who I was... heading into this week, I was so afraid to play Hurts and Frown.
Yep.
And the other guy who I was actually very afraid of is Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
He's a scary one.
Yeah.
So
he scored against me in the London game last week, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is
any play this Allen just hucks it down the field, and he's there."
Yeah. Devonta Smith, Chris Godwin, Tyler Lockett. Typically those are 3 really good receivers. But in today's economy, Those are all wide receiver 2/3s, where a lot of people got a couple wide receiver 1/2s in their top three. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Zach Ertz he doesn't have a tight end. There's no one on the bench that's looking up. Every week the flex is going to be a fuck show. So sorry to rip on. We were talking about who's going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right? Picking apart a team.
I
Right
don't know. We could be wrong again. We're just
yeah.
guys making
You know, the vacuum cleaners in last right now, they're grinding, they're making trades, they're active, but you know, Mike Will went out for the year, James Conner to IR, just lost percent. I'm real worried about this team. You know, if he can beat Tink this week easily, and then he's got, you know, Barkley,
big weight gets do or die for him.
Yeah, Barkley, Andrews, and you know,
We might even flex that to game of the week after the Barkley. No, the Barkley trading going into effect for me.
Yeah, you know, they have no flexes options on their bench either. Like every week their flex is going to be a question mark. We start a lot of players in this league. You know, you gotta have a mix of depth and upside there.
So who do you got again for bottom bracket?
For who's making it, I got FIO. I'm with you. Yeah. I think I don't think it's close either. I think he's going to be, you know, he's right behind me and you in the standings. We're back to back. He's a couple spots down. We all have the same record.
Yeah. I play FIO next week. I'm playing FIO next week. It is a tough week for him. He doesn't have Burrow. He doesn't have Chase. He doesn't have Hopkins. He doesn't have Breece Hall.
Wow.
So, I mean, you could make a trade. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I don't see him trading any of his guys right now.
Yeah. So if he, you know, loses to Inferno and then potentially loses to you, that could be tough to come back. But the thing is, so many people in the league, like from 4th to 9th, the record is 2-3. You know, 4th place has a losing record right now. So that's just how tight this is, how open it is. We'll see.
So it'll be tight. You know, like right now, it's very tight standings. I don't think we've ever had closer teams together right now.
Yeah,
and it's just a matter of who breaks out of those current tiers right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is Friday afternoon. We're in the middle of a workday here, coming to an end on the weekend. You know, thanks for blocking off your calendar there and joining. You know, consider it a little personal day from work or from the afternoon here prior to the weekend. Wish we had some football on tonight, but we got some hockey on deck, and then
Blue Jackets played tonight.
They played last night, so they do not play today. But you know what? If I had to bet, I would say that Bedard is back in action. No, there's actually only 2 games on tonight. Yotes, Devils, Penguins, Capitals.
What's on the sketch tonight? What are you watching?
So I would be watching probably the Devils and the Yotes. Watch Jack Hughes and all these young guys on the Yotes. Penguins and Capitals, I've been watching them for 10 years. You know, I'll watch them some other time. One day away from Sunday, one day away from football, and the standings might look a lot different here.
9:30 Sunday.
AM. London.
Amy's gonna love that. Football all day.
I've got Lamar and I've got Justice Hill into this week in London.
I got Gus Bus.
Are you playing Gus?
I'm playing Gus, baby.
Yeah,
I think Gibbs is hurt.
Oh.
Want to fucking chat about Gibbs real quick?
Yeah, sure. What's your concern level out of 10?
So heading to the season, this is exactly how I saw it playing out. Monty will just get fucking fed. Gibbs will get familiar with the system. Monty's getting like 30 carries per game. Let that truck get all the miles right now. Gibbs will be back. His playoffs, later in the season, he looks juicy. he's in a lot of matchups that are shootouts. He'll get used in the target game, especially if Amon Ra is also banged up. I think that's a big factor for Gibbs. And don't get me wrong, Monty is a great player, but they're going to work well together. And also, if you look at Gibbs and like all the trends for running backs, I was very close to the Christian McCaffrey situation when he was a rookie.
I had him as a rookie.
Oh, you did? Yeah. And then I drafted him the next year.
You sniped me on him the next year, like second round or something.
That's right. But you saw how that played out, right?
Yep.
Gibbs is actually getting more rush attempts than Christian McCaffrey was getting his rookie year at this current stage.
McCaffrey was so nasty coming out of college. I think he might have even been drafted higher than Gibbs. And it felt like for McCaffrey,
he was drafted ahead of 12.
I think so. Maybe right around there.
Let's look this up.
All right. I want to say he was like top 10.
Was he? But close. They didn't draft the guy. They're being very smart with it. I mean, it doesn't net out well fantasy-wise at this point of the season, but this is
he was 8th overall. He was 108, McCaffrey.
Nice.
But it felt like he came in, he was a rookie, he was really good, little undersized. It felt like the next year he just came in jacked. It felt like he was like 10, 15 pounds heavier and didn't lose a step. Like my worry with Gibbs right now is he looks small, and
the glow up will be fucking amazing on Gibbs. This guy has the mentality of a football player. If you watch like all his interviews, all his Alabama, like in the scouting rooms, like he just knows football. The one thing I don't like about Gibbs is he almost loves his teammates too much. If you look at his stories, he's like sharing all the Montgomery stuff, sharing all his O-line stuff, sharing all the defense stuff. This guy should want the football. He's being too standoffish, I think. But with that said, Monty is getting a lot of miles right now. We know what happens with Monty eventually. I don't want it to happen. Maybe I do. But I don't know. We'll see. I think they both will be serviceable.
Yeah. I think there's no world Monty isn't a top 5 running back by the end of the season in total points.
Of course, yeah. There's no,
and I don't see a world that Gibbs is.
But I didn't draft him to be my RB1.
Yeah, are you sure?
Okay, so let's actually think about this for a second.
Okay, we've got a minute here.
Let's think about this for a second, though. Who would you want in a keeper league? Gibbs, Ramondre Stevenson, Dobbins, or Najee?
Neither, because you get Devon Achane round.
That's 10. Not what I asked you.
Dude, I didn't want any of those guys in the first round.
I know, but where I got him was perfectly fine and exactly what I was hoping for. And I've done this song and dance before. I drafted James Conner to have those first 6 weeks of production. But every year, man, this always happens. And Gibbs will get used.
It's true. You're buying an ascending asset, not a descending one.
Yeah, and like who right now, who can carry those greasy yardages? Like Moss